And do it again. Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT baby. And welcome back to Throwback Thursdays, where I take a look at a 90s movie and get a review. And this week, I'm reviewing the 1996 film, The Frighteners, starring Michael J. Fox, Jake Busey, Jeffrey Combs, and is directed by Peter Jackson. Alright, okay, it's been a while since I've watched this movie. Okay, so originally I was going to put in The Mask, and I put it in and I was watching it, and I'm just like, there's something else I can watch. I'm just like, is there anything else I can watch or something? So I'm looking through my horror shelf, which I've just put up yesterday. You know, I'm going through it and I'm like, The Frighteners seemed like it would be a good time. For some reason, I just wasn't getting into The Mask. And I was maybe 10 minutes in and I was thinking, how can I review The Mask? It's going to be kind of hard for me to review The Mask. That's why I wanted to change it. And so we got The Frighteners. And tomorrow, which was originally going to be RoboCop, I promise I will do RoboCop eventually. Tomorrow it will be The Stuff. I believe it's on one of the streaming services I have, like Tubi or something, and I'll put it on and I'll watch it. But it'll be my first watch. So this, as I do, I tell personal stories. I saw this at Shopko a few years back. During the Halloween time, I believe. And I saw it, and I just remember saying, oh, Michael J. Fox is in The Frighteners. It's a horror movie? Looking at Jake Busey. And I'm just like, okay. So I bought it, I put it in. And yeah, I enjoy it. It's different. Michael J. Fox. Some things you might not have known. This was Michael J. Fox's last big movie before he decided to go straight to TV. The same year he had a small part in Mars Attacks. But after this movie he decided he wanted to stay with his family. He wanted to be closer to his family, so he stopped doing movies and worked more on TV. Of course, then, he would go on to Spin City, and then a few years later he would have to retire due to his Parkinson's disease. But and they still pops up here and there. He's on Scrubs and stuff, but he had to make a Michael J. Fox show a few years back. But, yeah. And then it would make sense that TV work would be easier to do than movies, especially you want to stay with your family, you got Parkinson's disease, you kind of want to be, something easier to do, you know what I mean? And yeah, originally, I guess, this was supposed to be a Tales from the Crypt. See, Robert Zemeckis, who is the producer on this film, is also producer on Tales from the Crypt, and this is supposed to be a Tales from the Crypt movie, like Demon Knight or Bordello of Blood. But they decided not to, and they decided to make it its own thing. And yeah, I could see this being sort of, a sort of Tales from the Crypt type thing. And originally, Peter Jackson wanted to release this as PG-13, But the rating board, they insisted it had to be rated R for some reason. So they added more gore to it. It's rated R. And yeah, so the story is Frank Bannister, 5 years earlier, he got in a car accident. His wife ended up dead, and he had a near-death experience which allows him to see ghostesses, spirits. And he uses that to be a charlatan. And some could say, oh, he uses it make money. But the first time we see him do this, I think it's kind of justified. So, Frank has another car accident that accidentally has him go through someone's fence. And this guy whose fence he breaks in is an asshole. And he goes off on Frank, what do you think you're doing? It was an accident. He swerved. It was an accident. But, and he tells the guy, hey, here's my card. Call me, I'll pay for the damages. And the guy goes, you're goddamn right you're going to pay for the damages. And then he rips up the card. And when Frank tries to back out, he runs over one of the guy's lawn gnomes. And he's like, he looks at him at the card. He goes, I got your license plate number, you son of a bitch. I'm like, gave you his phone number, you ripped up the card. And then shortly after, they start getting haunted by something, which are the two ghosts that work with Frank. And yes, it's a setup, but I think the guy deserved it, because the guy was an asshole, and he gave him the card, said he would pay for the damages, and he ripped up the card, and then, I don't know, I think he deserved it. Although, the poor guy, because this guy ends up dead because of the Reaper, as we'll call him, and he helps out the guy, and Frank ends up, by the end of the film, with the guy's wife. The guy's widow. Yeah, and like halfway through the film, they kind of forget about this guy. He's a spirit that's going around following Frank, and then he's just gone, I guess. Yeah, he's got two ghost friends, one of which is played by Chief McBride, the other one I don't know who. And they help him out, you know, when this Reaper starts rearing his ugly head. It's connected back to his wife, and I don't know if they ever specifically say how, like, there was a car accident, like, the car accident from five years earlier, they got in an argument, they got in a car accident, and the wife had no, because the thing is, this killer, he marks his victims by a number on their forehead, and that's how he knows that the husband's going to die. Which, okay, so the Reaper's going to kill the husband, but not the wife. The wife is not targeted. It's like, okay, I believe the husband is number 34, right? And so the wife's not targeted until she's number 41. And I think that goes out to plot committee. It's like, you can't have them target both of them. She's the main female lead. So husband gets targeted first, and then further on down the road, I don't know. But I don't remember if they said specifically if, like, obviously the killer is Jake Busey, and apparently he was a serial killer from years earlier who was involved with a woman named Patricia, played by Dee Wallace. And I'm sorry, the flashbacks they show prove legitimately that she was involved. Somehow, she got off almost scot-free. They called her mentally challenged or something, and that she's now living in her mother's house. There's the scene where what's the, I can't remember the name of the main girl, but she goes to the house because she's a physician, so she goes to help, and then later she goes back to the house when they think that she's in danger because they think she's a victim in all this. And she goes, like, the mother is against everything, all this, whatever, goes upstairs, and she goes, I'll talk to mother. And then she goes up, immediately she comes down, she goes, I talked to mother, she's gonna call the police. And then the ghost of Jake Busey shows up and everything, and you can tell she's in on it, even though the main girl doesn't. And then, so they're like, we gotta wait for mother. So they run upstairs and they show the mother dead. Like, she's been slaughtered in the bed. I'm sorry, but wouldn't she scream when she's getting killed? We hear nothing. She just goes up, said, I'll talk to mother, and she goes up, comes back down and said, I'll talk to mother, she's going to call the police. But then she's dead. She's dead. She's like stabbed, blood all over the place. Dead. She's slaughtered. You'd think there would be some noise made. I'm just saying. I know you can hold someone's mouth down when you're killing them or something, like you've seen in other movies, but like, there would be noise. Thrashing around, something to throw her off. You know, something's not right here. The method they used, because Frank can't do anything because the guy's dead, and the guy kills his two ghost friends, which is kind of redundant how you kill ghosts. But so he's ready to shoot himself in the head to go. And she's like, wait. And so she injects him with something that slows the heart rate and lowers the body temperature, and then they stick him in the freezer, and he becomes a temporary ghost going after the thing. And he has the Reaper, he has Jake Busey, and then he gets the paddles back to life, but he had him. And there's several times when he has him, and they find out the ashes, they get taken to consecrated ground. This is where we get the best performance in the film, I think, in Jeffrey Combs. He plays Drammers, and he's this guy hired to investigate Frank. And here's the one thing that I don't understand. People are dying from random heart attacks, and they think Frank is murdering them. How? I'll call him back. Big LT Radio is calling me. So shout out. Subscribe to Big LT Radio or your DJ Let's Player Big LT or whatever it's called on YouTube. He's calling me. I will call him back when I'm done with this video. So people are dying of random heart attacks, and they think Frank is murdering them. Now I can see a little bit of suspicion because he shows up. He was like the first guy in this film that died. He was a client. He shows up at their funeral. He's at a dinner with the guy's wife, and then he points out, because he sees the number on, he's in the bathroom when another guy is taken. He points, this bitchy lady has the number, and he points out that she's next, which they think is a threat. I can see all this, but there's still one thing I would think about when I'm going through this investigation, that they're dying of heart attacks. How is he doing it? How is he making them have heart attacks? Is there some sort of medicine or drug or something that can cause heart attacks like that? And how is he doing it? You know, just common sense. And I'm sorry, okay, like I said, Drammers is the best part of the film. Jeffrey Combs is the best part of the film. But there's a point, he's supposed to be like a side antagonist while he's dealing with the Reaper. There's a point he becomes a flat out villain. Because the point is, like, he has this pistol gun, and when they knock him out, they take his gun. So he shows up with a fucking Uzi and points it at him. I remember sitting there watching this now, and I forgot about it. He pulls up the Uzi. I'm like, oh shit, fuck. Well, how? How would he get that? Just how? And then, like, so he has a Uzi, right? And I got a fucking Uzi, or whatever. And so here's the thing. So the thing is, they got to get the ashes, Jake Busey's ashes, to consecrated ground. So they go to the chapel in this old hospital. Same hospital where all these murders are committed. And that's where they get the flashbacks showing conclusively that she was in on it. Because Frank, because of his near-death experience, can see everything. So Jeffrey Combs takes the thing and he dumps the ashes outside of the chapel, outside of the hospital. And I'm just like, what? He's like, oh, these ashes must not. I'm like, why? I can see if maybe at one point he was supposed to be in league with the Reaper, and, you know, Jake Busey, that would be fine. But here, he just comes off as an asshole, and he dies. Let's talk about the effects in this film. The effects in this film are great, except for one point, and that's the death of Jeffrey Combs' character. He gets his head sliced off, and the CGI that they use for the head slice off is terrible. Otherwise, the rest of the film is fine. It's fantastic. There's a scene where Frank is pulling both of them. Like he somehow takes Dee Wallace out of her body, and it causes all three of them to go up. But then the Reaper pulls her back. It's like, well, we're going back down. Or you're going down, all right. They go to hell. And then he's reunited with his buddies in heaven. And like, it ain't your time, man. And push him back to his body. And then the end of the film shows him with the main girl. And I understand she's the main female protagonist, but her husband just fucking died. And all of a sudden she's moved on to Frank. And, you know, because of the traumatic experience she just went through, she can now see, because there's a great, where like, he's talking to Debbie and he says, you talk to your guardian angel there. And Debbie turns around. He's like, oh, maybe he's the sheriff. I don't know. He's like, oh, you got me. That's a good one. And then they show you it's Drammers. And then the woman says, boy, Drammers sure looks pissed. And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, you know. She's like, well, you know, they say that when you have a traumatic experience, sometimes. So she can see the ghost too. And I know Michael J. Fox would have been able to come back for the sequel because he was done with movies, but they could have done the sequel with her, and that would have been cool. But, okay, the actress's name is Trini Alvarado, and when I first watched this, I thought it was Andy McDowell. For some odd reason, I don't know it's Andy McDowell, but it's Trini Alvarado. I don't know remember her character's name. But when you start this, you don't think she's gonna be the main female protagonist. Not really. She's just the wife of the guy he accidentally ran over the fence. And so it's like, oh, she's the main protagonist. Once you start showing it, she's, working with the Patricia and everything. I'm like, oh, okay, she's the female protagonist. She has to be. They're focusing on her so much. Arlie Ermia's in this for a little while. He's pretty good. You got John Astin playing Judge. And I guess, for whatever reason, during the production of this, Michael J. Fox kept calling him Doc. For any unknown reason, I've seen the bloopers. He's like, Doc! I said Doc. Hey, the Doc. I said Doc. Doc! I did it again. It's just like, I don't know, maybe it's easy to yell Doc than it is Judge. I don't know. Guys, this movie's pretty good. I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. I know critics didn't like it when it came out, but it's pretty good. It's kind of like a Beetlejuice type. Like Danny Elfman worked on the music, and he signed on to do the music without even knowing what the film was. He just wanted to work with Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson's pretty good as a director. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I haven't seen much of his horror stuff, but this is pretty good. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. What are your thoughts on the Frighteners? Leave them in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.